Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Don't think you're going to go from 0 to 10 when dealing with women. Don't think that. And I was going to talk about this yesterday, but lovely lady Brittany sent me something and I said I had to talk about that. But now I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk about yesterday. Because one major issue I see out here, you get guys with little to no experience with women. I mean, little to no experience. I mean, you get a lot of guys who are virgins. Or they might have went on one date. One date with that one woman. Probably got that church hug at the end. Might not have gotten that. Have very little experience talking to women. Definitely don't have that sexual experience. But then be hitting up somebody like me or maybe somebody else, some other dating coach, thinking they going to get like supermodel of the world. Thinking they going to get the mythical 10. Because none of these women are perfect anyway, but we'll just go with that. Get a dime right away. They ain't happening. If you have no experience getting women, you're a virgin or something, you ain't starting at a 10. In fact, let me shout out somebody who passed away, Player Supreme. May he rest in peace. He said you got to have a starter hoe. What is a starter hoe? That's that woman you start with. Now, you don't have to do the 0 to 3 thing. I would say if you have no experience with women, don't think you're going to get like supermodel of the world. Don't think you're going to just start off and just get that fine ass woman right away. It ain't going to happen. That shit happens maybe in some rom-com, some movies, some TV shows, maybe even some stories. That's some fantasy ass shit. Nah, you got to start off. Because, first of all, let's look at it. Let's look at those super attractive women anyway. Let's be real. They got the top of the line players going for them. They got men who ain't scared of talking to women going for them. They got men who got sexual experience going for them. They going to skip over all those men with some real game. All those men who can do something for some guy with no experience. Because one thing with women, when they're in the bedroom, I'm sorry, I didn't say that properly, bedroom. When they're in the bedroom, they want that guy who's going to knock her out the box. They want somebody with experience. That's one thing with women. Now, if you don't have that experience dealing with women, just real quick, there's a woman, older woman, just gave me a look, but I know she lives on my street, and sometimes when I'm in my office, I know people can see in there. I was told by someone you can see right in there from the street. And I was like, oh, okay, she's a fat little motherfucker. Might holler at her at some point in the future. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. A woman can tell if you don't have experience. She ain't jumping over. Look, she ain't jumping over those guys. Not even so much as handsome, but a guy who knows how to talk to a woman. Guy who has some experience with women, especially in the bedroom. She ain't jumping all over there for some guy, some inexperienced guy. That shit might happen in the movies. That might happen in some books. That might happen in fantasy. That might happen in fiction, but that don't happen in real life. Because think about those very attractive women. They got maybe, and I'm saying conservatively, because I got called out by this. I said this privately to Master Teacher BGS. He said 20. I was like, nah, I'm just being conservative with it, Master Teacher. Shoot, you get one of those fine ass women. They get all these guys. They got these guys who they don't need to be watching these videos. They know how to get their style together. They know how to talk. They got experience talking to women. And women, I gotta ask a woman about this. They can be around a guy and tell if he got experience having sex. I gotta catch some women and ask them, like, catch them on one of those moments where they're gonna be honest with me. They can tell. Now, if you one of those guys, you haven't had sex, you don't talk to women a lot, women pick up on that. Women read that. They read your body language and stuff. And if they got some other secret to what they do, I ain't sure what it is yet. Like I said, I gotta find that out. But that guy they ain't gonna mess with that guy. Because if a woman find, and hold up, let me stop real quick. Don't be one of those guys say, oh, they just go for money. No, they don't. Especially if you one of those guys who think they do. Nah, some of them might, but overall, they want a guy who they want. They want a guy who has his level of attractiveness. Now, you can work on your attractiveness, but part of it is your experience with women. One of the things that you need to do is have that sexual experience. Like I said, women can pick up on it. And so you don't want to start at the top. You want to, as Player Supreme would say, get that starter hoe. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hold up, let me straighten this up. There's always some shit with this. Anyway, you want that starter hoe. Now, even though in the title I said 0 to 10, you don't have to start. I say you don't have to start with that 0 or that 1 or that 2. You don't have to go that low. Hopefully, you fixing yourself up to the point you can get a little bit better. I would say start with a Foxy 4. Shout out cousin T-Talk, because he talks about Foxy 4s. And in fact, I'll put a link to where he talks about that in the description box. Now, Foxy 4, that means she fixed up, but she might not have as pretty a face. But she fixed up a lot. I would say if you're going to start off with that woman. Yeah, she ain't supermodel of the world, but she fixing what she got. And if she's even higher than that, maybe a 5, go for that. Like, she ain't gonna be supermodel of the world. She ain't gonna have like that gorgeous face and tight body and all of that. And trust me, she ain't. Cause like I said, if she walks out of her house and she that fine, she getting played from everybody. Like I've mentioned several times, I've known some women who were pretty lesbians, and they were getting played like that. Women like that get played all the time. And if you're a guy who don't have experience, all you have to do is build your experience. So you might start with a 4. Let's just say hypothetically, you start with a Foxy 4, somebody who fixes up. And and this is after you fixing up yourself as well. See, here's the thing. You can actually learn to talk to, first of all, if you're in that relationship with that woman, and it don't have to be that long, it don't have to be a few years, it can be a few months. But you're learning how to talk to a woman. That's one. You're learning how to have sex with that woman. And any woman, as I've said before in a video, I've said this a few times, you deal with one woman, you really dealing with maybe 3 or 4. Because women, they can change by the week. They can literally change by the week. They can change because they can be like 1 week, they can be like real chill, cool to be with. The next week, they're real horny. But then the next week after that, they don't want a man near them. So you're going to go through all of that. So you learn a lot of stuff. Plus you're learning to talk to them. You're learning to deal with their different things. Now, this ain't saying stay with that woman. This ain't staying with that 4. Then once you get through that relationship, you move up. So, all right, you started with a 4. You go to a 5. You move up a bit. You move up because take everything that you learn from that 4 and apply it to that higher woman. Then you go through the stuff with that 5. All right, so you go through all the stuff with the 5. You probably encounter some new ass shit. So you go through that. Then you go even higher to the next one, and you get a 6. And see, you get to the point after you get through these women, then you'll be at a point where you can get that 8 to 10. Indeed, you might be able to get an 8, learn some stuff from her, then get that 9. And then there ain't no real 10s, but let's just be hypothetical. You get that 9, then you get a 10. See, here's the thing. Every time you're with a woman, you learn something. Everyone is a learning experience. Every time you're in a relationship, that's a learning experience. Every time you have sex, that's a learning experience. Let's get into sex. And I usually get into sex more on my Patreon. So definitely check that out. You know, I'm shouting out my Patreon more, but that's where I don't hold back. People who see me on here can tell I hold back. People who like talk with me privately know I hold back a whole lot. But I don't hold back on my Patreon. So just keep that in mind. But here's the thing. As you move up, as you do a different type of progression, I ain't going to do that other type of progression, but you start at a 4, then get a 5, then get a 6, 7. You gradually move up. But see, each woman that you've been with, you learn something. But you ain't going to go from start off, you don't have any experience. You ain't used to talking with women. You ain't used to having sex with women, thinking you're going to get a 9 or above. You ain't going to get that higher woman. Like anybody thinking that, get out of that fantasy. Get out of that fantasy. Because like I was saying earlier, you competing with some guys who got real game. Now you up here, you got some guys don't even know how to talk to women. Even on videos that I've said, "Lay, you gotta talk more." I've had some commenters say, "Well, what do I say?" Or come up with some stuff, or talk about, well, they having trouble, or they shy or something. It was like, well, shit. Start off small. And I'm saying at least a 4. I'm saying at least a 4 because at least a 4, they'll fix themselves up. A Foxy 4 fix themselves up a bit. Because you don't want to get like too jacked up. I will say that. You don't want to start off too jacked up. You don't want to start off somebody just bone ugly. Because, and I'm going to do an on-demand video next week. I'm going to talk about all those levels. Because, sometimes those ugly ones can be jacked up. Always start with the woman who at least fix something up about her. I mean, she might not be head to toe gorgeous. And most women ain't anyway. But at least, some women who fix herself up. And that nice body or something. She might not have that full progression. She might not have that face card. Her hair might be all right. Well, you could at least expect them to fix their hair. Their breasts might not be all of that. But in their waist, they could probably stand to lose some weight. They might not have that big old butt dunk or those like round hips. And they might not have those thick old thighs, which save lives. She ain't saving no lives with her thighs. Or those nice calves. I mean, she might have thick thighs, which save lives. But not those nice breasts. She ain't all that. But start there. Ain't nothing wrong with starting there. And just learn from that. And then the next woman, just a little bit better. And then after a while, you'll get to that point where you can always get that like fine woman. Because if you talk to a lot of guys who do get those fine women, you really talk to them, they'll tell you about like that woman that they dealt with that might have been jacked up. They had to learn. They had to get to that point where they can get to a higher level. Because you're not going to start off, come on You're not going to start off. You got to put in your work. As Player Supreme would say, may he rest in peace, you got to have that starter hoe. Ain't nothing wrong with that, especially if you just starting yourself, because you can learn everything. Then by the time you build up, you can get to that beautiful woman. Shoot, you ain't scared to talk to her. You ain't scared to talk to her. And then I'm gonna tell you what, on a practical level, pussy is pussy. Shit, some of those like average looking women and shit, they got some good on them. They gotta have some good. Suck the fuck out your dick and all of that. So, you know, that might be another conversation though. But for you guys who want that supermodel of the world, you gotta start first. You can't like think you just gonna get like a baddie right away. You ain't gonna get that top woman right away. Especially if you don't have that experience. Seriously, you scared to talk to women. You scared to talk to women. You ain't fixing yourself up. You ain't doing body game. You ain't letting the barber bless you. Because even before you get to that, you got to fix yourself up. And then you can move up. Because I guarantee you talk to any of those guys, if you have a conversation with any man that you just be constantly getting baddies, they'll tell you they weren't at that point at first. They had to build up. They didn't go from 0 to 10. And I'm telling you, maybe go from, I start out at 4, like 1 to 3s are funky. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with them. And then don't be one of those guys saying, well, if I don't get a 9 or a 10, I don't want a woman. Your ass ain't gonna get a woman there. We just gotta be realistic. For a third time, what I'm saying. For a third time, I'm gonna say, those women got plenty of guys talking to them. They only gotta get the best. If you at a point where you're a virgin or you haven't had that much sex, if you at that point, you obviously ain't the best. All right. Because you sure as hell ain't looking the best if you're going to talk about looks and body. Because shit, if you all that, a woman going to hand you the pussy. So a woman ain't handing you the pussy, right? So you got to learn. You got to learn. You got to build yourself up. Sure. You got to find that right haircut. You got to find that right clothing style. You got to hit the gym. You got to do body game. Shoot, there's my lovely lady Brittany said yesterday. Well, she said in her video, shoot, you better smell good. Shoot, you got to figure all that out. And that ain't going to happen right away. It's a fantasy if you think it is going to happen right away, but it ain't going to happen right away. You got to build up to that. And you can do that. Come on now. Start, like I said, a Foxy 4, that's good. A Foxy 4. Somebody who fixes up, but then get a 5, get a 6, get a 7, get an 8, shit. And through that whole time, shit, you getting something. You getting something. It's like I said, it don't matter. It don't matter, because shit, one of the best pieces of pussy I had in my life, man, probably a 3. But like I said, that's another conversation. That is a whole entire conversation. If you just want pussy, shoot. Go look back at my dog video. Dogs know what I'm talking about. But if you want that, if you want supermodel of the world, ain't nothing wrong with that. You want that fine ass woman, but your ass gotta work towards it. You ain't gonna get it right away. You ain't gonna be somebody who's scared to talk to women or don't want to fix yourself up, thinking you gonna get that woman. Why that woman gonna dip down? Sure. I've known a couple 100 octanes, as Master Teacher BGS would call them. I've known a couple of them. There's one, and we still friends on IG, this one, when she was younger, but she was in her 20s, man, she had pro athletes trying to get with her. Pro athletes, they were throwing it at her. She had guys trying to buy her shit. What the fuck she gonna fuck with just some dorky ass motherfucker for? Think about it. I want y'all to really think about that. Why they gonna dip down? Because even the guys thinking about money, shit, you got some millionaires coming for these women. What the fuck they gonna like dip down for? They got guys who hitting them with the rap. They ain't shit. They got guys with that conversation. They got guys who been with multiple women. So, you know, they already know. They already know that guy gonna tear him up. Shit. But you just gotta start. You just gotta start and just build up. Start with that starter hoe. And then just gradually build up. Learn every lesson there. And then move to the next one. Learn every lesson there. And then you get to the point, shit, you get to that 9 to 10 range, shit, they ain't nothing for you. In hell. And I mean legitimate 9 to 10s too, because sometimes dudes be getting a 7 thinking they getting a dime. I'm like, nah, she just most attractive here. And maybe, you know, you might be cool with that. Whatever the case, you still got, you got to build that up. You got to build that up. All right? Yeah, you ain't going to start off right away like with a top woman. Folks, that don't work. That don't work in life. You got to put in your time. You got to put in your shit. Park this joint, right? So, anyway, I want y'all to think about that. You gotta build up, man. You gotta build up. And it's just, it ain't nothing wrong with it. It just is what it is. You gotta work on really getting that better woman. But you ain't gonna start at the top. And I'm being nice about it. Some dudes would try to tell you start at 0. I'm like, nah. Like I said, 1 to 3s, they can be funky sometimes. Foxy 4, that's realistic. Especially y'all been listening to me hitting the gym and fixing up yourself. Now, if you don't want to fix up yourself, well, give it up. Give the women something they want, and you can get something. Trust me, these women out here thirsty. So you trust me, you can get something. So anyway, though, that's all I have for today. And I'll get back with y'all. Peace.